What's going on, summoners? Welcome back to another ProGuides video. I'm Kangas, and today, for some reason, they want me to tell you about the worst champions moving into Season 11. That's right, with the new item changes, some champs just flat out suck now. That doesn't mean that these are impossible to carry with though, so if your favorite champ made the list, best of luck. Now let's get into it.
Before we get into it though, I want you all to know that we are running a huge giveaway right now on our Discord server. We're giving away Riot points, coaching sessions, ProGuides points, and even ProGuides subscriptions. All you have to do to be eligible is subscribe to the channel and join the Discord using the link in the description. And then check out our giveaway tab on the Discord server. I'll see you there. Now, let's jump into it. We've chosen 2 champions in each role, so let's go from top to bottom lane respectively. Our goal is to give you the best playstyle and item builds to set you up for success. Just because these picks aren't doing too well does not mean that they are unplayable. If you're a Nocturne main, you don't need to retire your favorite champion just because he's weaker with the new items. The first champion we're going to talk about is Gangplank. People thought he was really hot at the very beginning of preseason, but since then, he hasn't gotten any major buffs to his kit or to his favorable items. The main issue with GP is that his build is currently all over the place, making it really difficult to find the right power spikes during the game. On top of this, we're expecting Season 11 to be faster paced, which puts some of the hyper late game carries into a pretty awkward spot. Before we talk about the build, let's not forget about our question of the day. Who do you think is the worst champ to play in Season 11? Let us know down in the comments. Alright, now that we're done with that, let's get back to talking about everyone's favorite orange sucker, Gangplank. For your runes, take Grasp of the Undying, Demolish, Second Wind, Overgrowth, Magical Footwear, and Biscuits. You can switch out Second Wind with Bone Plating if you're facing someone who likes to all-in, like Darius. And remember, try your best to poke down your opponents with Q whenever your Grasp is up. Stack that HP, you're gonna need it. For your items, an early tier will actually really help out your mana issues earlier on. But start with Corrupting Potion and then buy a tier on your first back. Your core build should be Divine Sunderer, Defensive Boots, based on the game, and the Collector. After that, you'll want to finish your Mana Mune, and then go Ravenous Hydra and Death Stance. Try your best not to get shut out in the early game. GP is a very punishing champion to play, meaning mistakes that you make will hurt you more than they would hurt other champs. Take advantage of the range you have over melee champions and try to play out the laning phase as safe as you can. Once you're level 6, impacting fights across the map is going to be the best way to grow your lead. The next champion that we'll talk about is Vladimir. With how long it takes him to ramp up currently, he's really struggling to stay relevant in games that don't hit the 30-minute mark. In the top lane, Vlad just doesn't match the impact that other stronger picks have. His kit doesn't have any good CC, and currently he only really brings damage and burst to his team. Vlad mains are currently taking Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Transcendence, Gathering Storm, Magical Footwear, and Cosmic Insight for their runes. Make sure to take the Ability Haste rune for the massive flat cooldown reduction. Like GP, try your best to avoid all-ins and sustain yourself through the lane. Your core items are Hextech Rocket Belt, Sork Shoes, Death Cap, Cosmic Drive, Zonia's Hourglass, and Void Staff. You can replace Void Staff with Morellonomicon if the heal cut is more valuable. Don't be afraid to buy an early stopwatch too if you feel like it'll be useful in a fight. Don't get me wrong, even though he takes a long time to ramp up, Vlad is still a strong carry in the right hands. If you manage to get a few kills and a CS lead over your opponent, try to join the earlier team fights. Your ult is more than enough to win a fight flat out, so use any advantage you get to make plays around the map. Next up, moving to the junglers, the Shadow Boy Nocturne isn't really doing that well in the meta. His ability to assassinate squishies and disrupt fights is still there, but he's just overshadowed by champs like Kha'Zix or Pantheon. We all know once Nocturne goes in, he doesn't have an easy way out, making him an easy target for tanks to just CC and kill. And unlike champs like Kha'Zix, he's not able to burst people fast enough to get the Duskblade proc that he desperately needs to survive. Regardless, for runes, you're going to take Lethal Tempo, Triumph, Legend Alacrity, Coup de Grace, Cheap Shot, and Ultimate Hunter. This will give you the most damage while increasing your global impact by lowering your ult cooldown. For items, you're still going to go Duskblade, but then Defensive Boots, Edge of Night, Ghostblade, Kumpunk Chainsword, and GA. If you don't really need the Revive passive, Death Stance is a really good option for more sustained damage. Nocturne does best in the jungle when you play around his massive level 6 spike. Once you have your ult, you want to make plays around whatever lane you know that you can kill. If both top laners are tanks, don't go there. Focus mid or bot instead. Making sure you get something out of your semi-global map pressure is the best way to stay relevant in the game, and the worst way to play is by messing up the first one. No pressure. The next jungler that we'll talk about is Shyvana. This champ always has 2 styles of gameplay, but the best one right now is going to be the poke-focused AP build. Her on-hit build is just weak, being a much worse version of every other on-hit jungler in the game, so just don't even try it. Shyvana is one of those champs that more often than not relies on the enemy team to make mistakes in order for her to get strong. She needs to power farm the jungle to the point where she is hitting like a truck, making her fairly unreliable in solo queue. Your runes should be Dark Harvest, Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, Ravenous Hunter, Transcendence, and Gathering Storm. This is of course the best way to maximize your ease damage as the game goes on. For build, Shyvana players are currently building Night Harvester, Sork Shoes, Nashor's Tooth, Death Cap, Void Staff, and Morello's. These are the best items for your E, making you chunk your opponents and winning fights before they even start, as long as you're playing around that ultimate window. If you want to play her in Season 11, we highly recommend you learn jungle pathing inside and out. You need as much gold and experience early on as possible in order to ramp up faster than everyone else. If you're struggling with this, make sure to go over to ProGuides.com, sign up for one of our coaches, and they will walk you through every step. Trust me, this champ is going to be hard to play this season. Moving on to the mid laners, it's no surprise that Ryze is one of the weaker champs in the game right now. Part of that is that he's just difficult to play into most mid laners, while also having one of the hardest ults to effectively use in the entire game. With how little bonus mana there is currently in the items, Ryze lost a lot of strength with the new item shop. For your runes, you're going to go Phase Rush, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Gathering Storm, Taste of Blood, and Ravenous Hunter. This will give you higher mobility, making it easier to dodge skill shots, while still getting close for your combos. Ryze mains are currently building Ludens, Sork Shoes, and Archangel Staff as their core items. You can of course still pick up a tier early on if you need to stay in lane for longer periods of time. Next up goes Zhonya's Death Cap and Void Staff. Morello can replace Void Staff if the heal cut is better in that particular game. Try your best to not pick Ryze into any super long-range matchups. Until he gets the mana and damage buffs that Anivia did earlier, Ryze can barely keep up with other popular mid laners in the game. Man, I feel bad for mid laners who do not have Roa anymore. The next champion that you should avoid in Season 11 is Azir. Not only is he really difficult to play well, but he just doesn't have the same damage that other mages do. Think of it this way, an Azir needs to play perfectly in order to outdamage, say, an Anivia who's just plain average. If you're interested in mastering a difficult champion like Azir, I recommend you watch Pro Play. Seeing how they position to DPS is so helpful in order to learn this champ. But if even that's not working for you, you can still check out ProGuides.com, our coaches will help you out. For Azir's runes, you'll take Lethal Tempo, Presence of Mind, Legend Alacrity, Coup de Grace, Mana Flow Band, and Transcendence. This will give you periodic cycles of massive damage from Lethal Tempo, so try and time your cooldowns around this burst window. Azir's core items are Liandry's, Sork Shoes, and Nashor's Tooth. Then you should build Zhonya's and Death Cap, with the order changing based on what you need that game. And your final item, you guessed it, either Void Staff or Morello, depending on if you need more damage or heal cut. Our final stop is the bot lane, with Sivir being the first AD carry that we'll talk about. All of the mana-hungry AD carries, like Sivir and Xayah, aren't doing the best in this meta. Even after all of the crit item buffs, the mana items like Essence Reaver just don't provide enough damage. For your runes, you'll want to take Lethal Tempo, Presence of Mind, Legend Bloodline, Coup de Grace, Nimbus Cloak, and Gathering Storm. This will give you as much mobility as possible, while still giving you a bit of help in the mana department. Sivir mains are currently building Gale Force, Berserker Greaves, and Essence Reaver as their core items. Since you're a close range AD carry, defensive boots aren't a bad option over Berserker Greaves. IE will be your next item, giving you a huge bump in damage. You should then get Phantom Dancer or Rapid Fire Cannon, depending on if you need the range from RFC. Your last item most of the time should be Bloodthirster. You can also swap out Bloodthirster for Mortal Reminder or LDR, depending on if you need heal cut or armor penetration. But most of the time, you'll want to survive. Hopping on to the next one, Kalista is another AD carry who's down in the dumps this season. Her aggressive playstyle and unique mechanics have always made her a hit or miss in solo queue. If you want to play a strong early game carry currently, Draven and Samira do just as much damage without completely falling off in the late game, so just try those. If you're dead set on Kalista, you probably want to take Hail of Blades, Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection, and Ravenous Hunter for the primary runes, and secondary being Triumph and Legend Alacrity. This is the best rune page for early game kills, so make sure to try to all in with your support whenever you proc your Hail of Blades. Even though she's pretty weak, a good Kalista can still dominate the bot lane. If you don't have one already, finding a duo to play with in Season 11 could make her a much more effective pick to stomp out a lane. Kalista really needs a good support, so don't just pick her for fun. And finally, we got supports, with Sett as our first pick for the weakest champion in Season 11. With how punishing it is to try and build expensive items as a support, Sett is really outclassed by every other melee support outside of laning phase. For your runes, go Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, Water Walking, Cosmic Insight, and Hex Flash. Hex Flash and Nimbus Cloak are crucial for Sett support, helping him land his E on important targets. Your items should always be Boots of Swiftness, Turbo Chem Tank, and Dead Man's Plate, then buy a Thornmail and Force of Nature. Switch in the order based on what the enemy team looks like. Sett support is best when used to cheese your opponents. You need to play very aggressive early on, intimidating the enemy laners with your flash and hex flash. Roaming mid is also a great idea if the enemy mid is immobile. And the last champion balancing out our list is Karma. Karma has always been one of those champions that's either too oppressive because she just hits like a truck, or just useless because they nerf her Q and her shielding. This makes it really hard for the team to actually balance her, and currently she's just at the bottom of the barrel. She's outclassed by both enchanters and other poke supports, making her one of the weakest picks in the game. For your runes, you'll still go Airy, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Scorch, Zombie Ward, and Ultimate Hunter. If you want to go a more supportive build, you can go Revitalize and Bone Plating as your secondary tree. Your core items are going to be Imperial Mandate, Lucidity Boots, Staff of Flowing Water, Redemption, and Ardent Sensor. But remember, you can buy Ardent before Redemption if you're playing with a hyper carry like Vayne or Twitch. Because Karma fills two roles, it's hard to be totally efficient with her. You need to focus on landing good Qs to proc your mandate, while also using your Mantra Shield to peel enemies. Just remember this general rule. Mantra Q is good for laning phase so you can harass, but Mantra E is Karma's biggest strength moving into the mid and late game.
Well, that wraps up everything for the worst champions going into Season 11. If someone you like playing is on this list, remember, you don't have to give up on them totally. Just remember that it'll be a bit harder when you're facing those meta picks. But if you're looking to join a fun and active community that is also sad that their favorite champs are now shit, make sure to join our League of Legends Discord server. It's a great place to make new friends and have discussions just like these, so stop by if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, best of luck on the Rift, stay hydrated, and wash your hands.